So
I want to make it clear how much I love this team. No, wait. I've talked about this before, right? Like I've said it before. Because I feel like I've just been completely trashing the team, which is fair. Hey, listen, they 10,000% deserve it. They lost to an emergency backup goalie
who works at our school.
works out of school, but at the end of the day, like they're still right. Like okay, let me bring it back to Montreal for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The Montreal Canadiens are awful right now, right?
Yeah.
But they're not playing well. But you still love the team.
Yes. Yeah. Somehow.
Deep down, you love the team.
I'm not even deep down. I love this team with my life. I want nothing more than for them to succeed.
So I'm just throwing a hypothetical situation out here. I'm not saying this is going to happen and probably won't happen this year. But if the Leafs win the cup this year, hypothetical, there's no way I'm the guy jumping on the bandwagon.
No.
Okay? I just want to be clear.
Every now and then you're taking a sip out of your Leafs water bottle of your Austin Matthews jersey in the back and all this kind of stuff and da.
Listen, if you can tell me who Alexei Ponikarovsky is, you're a Leafs fan. Okay?
Yeah.
I have Alexei Ponikarovsky picture over here. So I think I'm a Leafs fan. Now, I've given this team is so frustrating. So frustrating.
I can't remember the last time you smiled talking about this team on this show. Oh, excuse my dog barking. Don't know what he's doing.
I don't even know the last time I smiled either about this team. Because you know what the thing is we went in, October, what was it? October 4th was their first game, I think. I'm like, man, this team's going to be great. They just got Tyson Barrie. Matthews, Nylander, and Marner are a year older. Marner's here. He's not holding out. We still have John Tavares. And then that. And then literally whatever that was for the first, couple months. And then Sheldon Keefe comes in and is like, man, we got new energy in this. Music's playing. Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber's playing at practice. And, they're doing skills instead of back skating them every day. I don't know, whatever the hell they do at practice. I'm like, just new energy. And it just felt right. And then it's been the last, since All-Star break, it seems like this team has been so bloody inconsistent. And I don't know if they're consistently inconsistent or inconsistently consistent.
Okay, hold on. I think the consistently inconsistent is more. If anything's the Leafs' identity, it's consistently being inconsistent.
That's the issue.
Yeah, because buddy, I put on last night's game, and when I think it was what they had, they were shooting Tampa 12-2, 10-0 at one point. I was thinking, yeah, I'm not surprised. We all knew this was going to happen.
I put out a tweet after the California road trip, and it literally described the Leafs. It's so it's so frustrating to watch this team, knowing what the potential of this team is. Only they gave a crap all the time. That's the issue I have, is that this team, and I feel like I say this every episode. I literally feel like I say this every episode, that the team doesn't always look like they care. It doesn't look like it's all about the details. And what?
Okay, Anthony.
So it's annoying to sit here and watch this team struggle when you know what they can do. I think it's difficult for me to come out and say that it's the player, it's the management, because sure, he hasn't made every single trade, has not been the best. The Tyson Barrie trade not necessarily worked out the best. I think the first couple of months, that I think I can blame Mike Babcock. He was playing him in a shutdown pair with Jake Muzzin. Tell me how, in what world that works.
Not in this one.
I think Sheldon Keefe has used him more sparingly in that he's put him in more situations to succeed than to fail, yet he still failed. I know the team can perform. Last year, game 5 against Boston, probably the best game I've seen that group of players play ever. This year, literally against Florida, the first 2 periods, spectacular. And then they crapped the bed in the third.
Then we left class.
We left class. The team puts up, it's like sometimes they play, sometimes they don't. And it's just really frustrating to sit here and talk about it. And I'm going to bring it back to the Raptors like I said I was going to earlier. You know what the Raptors are doing that works? They fight every single game. They look for the win every single game. No matter what. They won the NBA championship last year with Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, and Pascal Siakam, Marc Gasol. I can list all the players if you want me to, but I'm not. They lost arguably a top 3 player in the league in Kawhi Leonard. Mm-hmm. And what is their record right now? 46-18.
I'm waiting for you to tell me the overtime loss.
They don't have overtime losses because they're not stupid. They're 46-18. When they lost Kawhi, I was watching, well, they had ESPN, they were showing whatever, the shows on TSN, the Canadian equivalent. They were showing predictions, and the Raptors weren't even making the playoffs.
Which is, yeah.
If this team had the same mentality as the Raptors in that every game you need to give a crap. You're telling me this team would look the same? The thing with this team is they've showed fans that, you know what? This is what we look like when we give a crap. Mm-hmm. And then they turn off the switch when they get comfortable.
Oh, yeah,
that's the issue.
Yeah.
They turn off the switch when they get comfortable. Before going into California, they were comfortable. I believe they were 5 points ahead of Florida. They turned off the switch. They played against 2 of the worst goalies in the NHL this year. Sure, they had good performances against the Leafs. But you can't sit here and tell me that is a good enough excuse. You have John Tavares, you have William Nylander, you have Mitch Marner, and you have Austin Matthews. And you scored 2 goals against Anaheim and LA, and you scored 2 goals against San Jose. That's not good enough. It's just simply not good enough. I'm telling you right now, the team, if they just fought, not physically, like pushed for the win every single game, it would be devastating. Like it amazed me. And it's like night after night. I don't know what to expect. They play Nashville tomorrow night and they play Boston Saturday. I honestly can tell you right now, I have no idea what to expect. If they crap the bed, I'm not surprised. If they play well, I'm not surprised. Because this team has been so inconsistent for so long. Like, the thing is, it's not just been an issue this year, right? Like, we've had this discussion last year. We've had this after the first playoff series against Washington. This has been an issue. And it's just extremely frustrating. Like I hate moving the goalposts, and I'm not going to move the goalpost because I saw so many people move the goalpost for this team. I believe it was against LA when they had a good defensive performance. Man, Mitch Marner makes almost $11 million. Austin Matthews makes just over 11 and a half. John Tavares makes $11 million. Great. What are half of them paid to do? Offense. Why is Austin Matthews paid $11.5 million to score goals? Why is Mitch Marner paid 10.89 whatever million dollars?
Make sick feeds.
When you're paid that much, you have to do both. It can't be one or the other. It can't be one or the other. And if that's the case, you're moving the goalposts. Like you can't have it both ways. You can't say, "Oh, you had a good defensive performance," but they didn't have a good offensive performance. But they really worked on their defense. That's not allowed. You have to have a good defensive performance. You have to have a good offensive performance. You're paid millions of dollars each year, and you can't just throw a performance like that whenever the hell you feel like it. That's my issue with this team. Is that okay? There's more than one issue with this team. It was the goaltending. The goaltending is getting better. The defense, I think the defense, like the actual defensemen, have been struggling simply because half of Riley and Muzzin, who are essentially the backbones of your defense, have been out. Riley got back. Riley looked great last night. But that defense is going to be restructured in the summer. Now, your offense, your bottom six aren't performing anymore. That's kind of an issue. Alex Kerfoot looks invisible half the games. Kasperi Kapanen kind of works on your third line when he wants to play like a big boy. So there's that's the main issues. But the underlying issue of this team, I'm just going to wrap this up. The underlying issue of this team is that I don't think they're just mature. And I don't mean that in the way that people normally talk about mature. I'm talking about when you're playing an NHL game, you can't take nights off. When was the last time you heard Patrice Bergeron took a night off?
That does not compute, that sentence.
When was the last time Steven Stamkos took a night off?
Does not compute.
Right. When he was injured. The best teams in this league, their star players rarely take nights off. Rarely. Maybe a couple times a year. I understand that players have off nights. Every single person has off nights. Not every episode of the podcast is perfect.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? Sometimes we're a little bit of a mess.
No.
But consistently being inconsistent when you're paid that amount of money, not okay. That's it. That's the issue.
That's the tweet.
That's the biggest issue.